So when it comes to the quadrants, you have four sections or four quadrants as they call them in the book. And the book is basically like a path to financial freedom. It is your guide to financial freedom. Um it's an easy template that you can follow, that you can plan according to when it comes to the path to financial freedom. And I want to dissect these four quadrants, and I'll probably just quickly touch on the different quadrants in this video, and probably just go deeper into the quadrants in the following videos. But the cash flow quadrant is basically a book on these, as I mentioned, four quadrants, four sections, which show which indicate where people get their money from. Now, if you look at how the cash flow quadrant is illustrated, you have the left side of the quadrant and you have the right side of the quadrant. And the left side of the quadrant is what a lot of people are accustomed to, what a lot of people are exposed to, and what a lot of people are or find themselves in today, which is the employee quadrant and the self-employed quadrant. Now, we all know what an employee is. An employee is somebody who trades their time for money, as somebody who trades their skills and does something for a fixed paycheck at the end of the month. And that's what everybody's being conditioned to be, and everybody's conditioned to do. And that's exactly what we are taught in school, is to fall in that quadrant. Now, with the videos that I'm making, guys, these are videos that if I never come across this, if I never knew about all of this, I would have never had a definite direction or a purpose in my life, or I would have never had an idea on how financial freedom works. And the employee quadrant is what I was striving to. I had to find a job. I believe it's important to have a taste of the employee quadrant, know what it is to be an employee. That quadrant is very important, but it's not a quadrant. It's not something that should be for the rest of your life. And the second quadrant is the self-employed quadrant, or the business or self-employed professional, which could be your medical doctor, which could be your lawyer, somebody who works based on the fact or based on whether they work or not. Self-employed is exactly what I'm doing. I went from the E quadrant, I went from being employed to being self-employed. Right now is where I find myself. And you want to be able to shift from the employee quadrant. You want to be able to shift from the self-employed quadrant and find yourself on the right side of the quadrant. And the right side of the quadrant is where financial freedom lies. For me, that's where I'm striving to be. That's where money gets to work for you, because if you go to the right side of the quadrant, you find the big business quadrant, or the business owner. This is when you own a system, own a vehicle that is actually bringing you the money without you having to do the work. And that is where a lot of people want to find themselves, where you can start like a transport business, whereby you would be self-employed in the beginning, and then as time goes on, from the revenue that you may make, you can cross over to the big business owner quadrant, whereby you start your own company, or you start your own transport company, or you start your own whatever that has to do with transport, or whatever field you are in. And finally, there is the investor quadrant. That's where financial freedom truly lies. We're talking investments, we're talking all sorts of investments. Now, if you look at these four quadrants, guys, it's totally different. And I want to be able to dissect these quadrants. I want to be able to go deeper into the quadrant of employee, the quadrant of business, or rather self-employed, and then going to the business owner, going to the investor. And I also actually came across this whole formula when I started with the world of personal development, when I started with the world of network marketing, to be precise. And in network marketing, I was told that in network marketing, it starts off as you doing the groundwork. That's how it always starts. It always starts with you. It always starts with you putting in the work. But the network marketing business formula, or the business format, is actually you having a business whereby you can actually leverage other people's time, other people's efforts, and other people's money, which is another formula to wealth, which is something that I'll probably discuss in another video. But once you get to understand these things, and they don't teach this in school, once you get to understand, once you can expose this to your children and actually show them that there's a difference between an employee, there's a difference between a self-employed person, somebody who's self-employed, and a business owner and an investor. And those are 4 different ways that you can have money coming for you. Which quadrant are you in? Which quadrant do you want to be in? Which quadrant are you? You're probably in 2 different quadrants. You're probably a business owner and an investor. You're probably an employee and an investor. You're probably oh my gosh, this guy next to me is, you're probably self-employed and an investor. And there could be so many ways, there could be so many scenarios, but I want you to learn this information and know this information. I mean, from the background that I came from in retail, if I would ask a majority, not that I'm looking down on people in retail, if I would ask you, do you know the 4 different quadrants? Do you know the Cashflow quadrants? Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Have you read the Cashflow quadrants? Have you read Rich Dad's Guide to Investing? Have you read Rich Dad's Guide to Financial Freedom? Have you read Rich Dad's Prophecy? Have you read there's so many books just by Robert Kiyosaki. The guy has written so many books. Have you read Robert Kiyosaki's Escape the Rat Race, Escape the 9 to 5? There's so many books that this guy has written. Have you just one? and what I'm highlighting here is the one book that you should really actually read, the Cashflow quadrant, that makes you understand what is going on, that makes you understand that, oh, I can be an employee, but from being an employee I can be self-employed. Oh my gosh, this guy, bro, fucking weird. Can I move from being an employee to being self-employed? How do I do that? What are the different things that I need to look at? Can I then move from being self-employed to having a business? Can I be a business owner? Can I be a doctor? Can I be a teacher? Can I be an optometrist and be self-employed and having to do it? Can I be a clinical psychologist and having to do the work myself? To crossing the quadrant and being a business owner and now having people do it for me instead of me, and making revenue, making profits for that, so that I can be able to take that money and be an investor. So this is the kind of knowledge, guys, that I'm really trying to get across to you. This is the kind of knowledge that, oh my gosh, people who don't have access to YouTube don't have access to. So that's my life mission, that's my life goal, to go all the way and teach as many people as I can about this information. So yeah, man, this is one of the first few videos. Probably gonna dissect a couple more books from Robert Kiyosaki, or just books in general, where I can be able to just talk about what's being said and what's being taught, so that you can know. And once you can know, then you can go forth.